Hello, this is Donna, and for the next hour I'll be reading from the weekend edition of the Post Standard on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. McMahon uses veto to quash term limits for county executive by Riley Kirk. Onondaga County Executive Ryan McMahon vetoed a local law that would enact term limits for his position and another that would remove his power to fill vacancies on the county legislature, a county spokesperson said on Friday. McMahon issued 3 vetoes on Friday, said Justin Sales. McMahon's veto stops the law from going to voters for a referendum in November. It would need to pass that ballot measure with a simple majority. The law would have limited the county executive position to 3 4-year terms. That matches the term limit approved by voters last year for county legislatures. There currently is no limit on how long a county executive can serve. The legislature would need 12 votes to override McMahon's veto. In their vote last month, all 10 Democrats voted in favor of the law, and all 7 Republicans voted against it. Democrats then would need to win over at least 2 Republicans to override the veto. McMahon rarely uses his veto power. Previous vetoes have included controversial legislative maps, pay cuts for election commissioners, and a $2 million upgrade to a softball field. In other news, a volunteer group works to rescue a historic cottage from beetles by Steve Featherstone. Casey's Cottage, an historic house nestled among towering oak trees inside Mexico Point State Park, is turning into dust, and one group is scrambling to save it. Volunteers from Friends of Mexico Point, who help maintain the property, began noticing a powdery substance on the floor of the cottage a few years ago, but were told not to worry. Last year, it was determined that the cottage was infested with powder post beetles, and the situation became urgent. Powder post beetles can weaken and destroy a wood structure in as few as 6 years. It will cost $30,000 to fumigate the cottage. The cost will be split 3 ways amongst the State Department of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, which owns the park, the Town of Mexico, which manages it, and Friends of Mexico Point. The volunteer group has already raised $7,000 of its $10,000 share of the bill. Now it's holding fundraisers to make up the difference. From the Police Blotter, a bookkeeper admits thefts but avoids prison for now by Ann Hayes. A woman who worked as an office manager for a Syracuse law firm admitted Thursday to stealing about $275,000 from her employer. Katrina Elmer, 55, has avoided prison for now after paying back $105,000, prosecutor Tim Frateshki said. She gave the money directly to Germain & Germain, the Syracuse-based civil law firm where she had worked. She pleaded guilty Thursday to second-degree grand larceny in exchange for a sentence of 5 years probation. She faced up to 15 years in prison. She admitted to writing checks to herself from 3 different bank accounts belonging to the firm and cashing the checks for herself between August of 2021 and April of 2026. Elmer altered the firm's check registers to show the checks she stole had been made out to legitimate vendors, police said. Despite accepting the plea deal, Elmer will not be sentenced until January of 2027. On the day of sentencing, she will be required to pay back another $100,000, Frateshki said. If she does not, she faces a state prison sentence for violating the terms of her plea. After that payment, she has one more hurdle to clear. She will have to pay back a final $70,000 by January of 2028. If she does not, she could again face prison time, this time for violating the terms of her probation. From Syracuse, car slams into a city building after a 3-vehicle crash by Vince Gasparini. A car struck a building on Syracuse's east side on Thursday afternoon after another car crashed into it. Around 2:24 p.m., a red Acura traveling on the 1300 block of Erie Boulevard East overturned after crashing into another vehicle, said Sergeant Thomas Blake, a Syracuse police spokesperson. The second vehicle then struck a third vehicle, which then crashed into the entrance door of the Syracuse Water Department building at 101 North Beach Street. Several people were taken to the hospital for minor injuries, and the crash is still under investigation. One person is displaced in a house fire in Eastwood from Greta Stuckey. One person was displaced Friday after an early morning house fire in Eastwood. Syracuse firefighters were sent to 261 Shotwell Park at about 5:28 a.m. after a report of smoke coming from the home, according to the Syracuse Fire Department District Chief Timothy Gleason. Arriving firefighters entered the house and determined no one was inside. The person living there safely exited the house after being alerted by working smoke detectors, said Captain Eric Castor. Firefighters extinguished the fire in about 20 minutes. The home sustained smoke and water damage. The resident will be displaced during the cleanup process and was assisted by the American Red Cross. Utilities were disconnected, Castor said. The cause of the fire was an electrical malfunction. Moving on to sports. In boys lacrosse, everyone's hungry as West Genesee heads back to the title game by Kevin Smith. The West Genesee boys lacrosse team was in the midst of a magical, undefeated season last year as it entered championship weekend. However, the Wildcats' first New York State Championship appearance since 2018 did not go the way they would have hoped, as Section 11's Half Hollow Hills ran away with that Class A crown. It was exciting to get there last year, West Genesee coach Eric Burns said, but of course it wasn't our end goal. Our goal is to win. This year, the Wildcats are heading to their second straight state title game following a 12-5 win over Section 2's Shaker in the Class A semifinals on Thursday at SUNY Cortland. The boys didn't get it done last year, but the standard and the goal was to get to the state championship every year, senior Jeffrey Mercer said. And this year, I feel like our boys can really do it. We lost last year, but that's more fuel to the fire. When it's all said and done, Burns said West Genesee will have 53 practices this season. The ultimate goal is within reach, and Burns added that the high tally of practices is what got the team there. Last year, it was our first championship appearance in 7 years. This year, everyone's hungry to get the title. There's nothing more you can ask for, so let's go out with a bang. Marcellus gets another crack at Long Island powerhouse by Connor Pignatello. One more, Marcellus goal Otto Moses told his teams after subbing out in the final minutes of Thursday night's Class D boys lacrosse state semifinal. One more, yelped a few more teammates as the Mustangs walked to the handshake line. After Marcellus boys lacrosse handed Section 2's Schuylerville 17-4 on Thursday night, they'll have one more game left. For 13 Mustangs, it'll be the final game of their high school careers, and for some, it'll be the final time they hold a lacrosse stick in a competitive game. To claim their first boys lacrosse state championship, the Mustangs will have to go through Cold Spring Harbor, the Nassau County Long Island powerhouse that ended Marcellus' season in state championships in 23 and 24. They'll play at 3 p.m. Sunday at Hobart and Smith College. In Syracuse women's, the SU women lose standout attack to ACC rival by Brent Axe. A top scorer on the Syracuse women's lacrosse team is leaving via the transfer portal, but will cross paths with the Orange again soon enough. Sophomore attack Caroline Trinkus, who was SU's second leading scorer last season with 44 points, is transferring to Boston College, sources confirmed. Lacrosse Extras was first to report. Trinkus's 31 goals were also second second on the Orange to Molly Guzik with 44 goals. She earned a second-team All-ACC honors this season. Trinkus logged a career-high 6 points in SU's NCAA tournament loss to Navy, scoring 4 goals and adding 2 assists. Trinkus' transfer sets up an intriguing reunion with SU's ACC nemesis, as Boston College has defeated the Orange 9 straight times, including in consecutive Final Fours in 2023 and 2024 and the 2021 National Championship game. SU will turn to a BC transfer to help replace Trinkus' production in attack with Hannah Evans, who committed to Syracuse out of that transfer portal last month. Davis scored 16 goals and 16 assists this past season as a redshirt freshman for the Eagles, and she has 3 years of eligibility remaining. Emma Ward lands an assistant coach role in the Big 12. Former Syracuse star Emma Ward has been hired to be an assistant coach at the University of Florida, the school announced on Thursday. Ward spent 5 seasons at Syracuse from 2021 to 2025, making 83 appearances and 56 starts for the Orange. Ward tallied 324 points in her Orange career, a mark that ranks 7th in the program history. Emma's competitive spirit, leadership, and passion for the game has made her one of the best to play the game. Her knowledge of the game, commitment to excellence, and ability to connect with the players makes her a tremendous addition to our coaching staff. And we're excited to see the impact she'll have on the continued success of Florida lacrosse. From the business pages and manufacturing news, privately held Bechtel is also building a factory in Ohio for Intel, by Glenn Coyne. The global construction company that helped build the Hoover Dam and Boston's Big Dig Tunnel project will construct Micron Technology's first two chip-making factories in the town of Clay. Bechtel, a privately held company founded in 1898, has been hired by Micron to be the lead contractor on the engineering, procurement, and construction phase of the first two of the potentially 4 fabrication plants the company jointly announced. The amount of the contract wasn't announced, but Micron said it will spend about $50 billion to build and equip the 2 fabs. Micron could get $25 billion in taxpayer subsidies. Most of the building cost of a fab is not actually in the construction, but the equipment that goes inside to transform silicon wafers into chips. A single machine can cost $500 million. Micron broke ground in January. Gilbane Construction was hired to clear and level the site at an estimated cost of $1 billion. So far, Gilbane cut down more than 300 acres of trees, stripped away about 200,000 cubic yards of topsoil, and brought in 300,000 tons of fill, according to reports filed with the town of Clay. In other business news, SHA Credit Union branch will close as the I-81 construction creeps closer, by Renee Fox. A neighborhood bank branch serving Syracuse Housing Authority residents has closed last week as Interstate 81 construction has begun reshaping daily life in the area. The closure of Cooperative Federal Credit Union inside SHH headquarters at 516 Burt Street means its customers will have just 2 banking offices for the near future. The credit union cited access and safety challenges tied to the ongoing road work as the reason for the branch's closure. The branch has operated there since 2017 in a partnership with SHA to expand banking access in an area where many residents are underbanked. Construction has made it difficult for us to continue our operation from that location. The sidewalk and road conditions present difficulty for things like cash delivery and accessibility. The credit union is working with the Housing Authority to identify a new spot nearby that could eventually offer more services, including financial counseling and housing support. Customers can continue using the credit union's other Syracuse branches. One is a mile from the Burt Street location at 401 South Ave, and the other is 2 miles away at 1816 Erie Boulevard East. A third branch, 3.5 miles away at 1217 North Salina Street, is expected to open later this year. Members can also access their accounts online or by phone. The Burt Street office was placed within public housing to make banking easier for people without regular transportation. And the branch offered more than standard banking. Residents could receive home buying classes, financial counseling, and avoid costly alternatives such as check cashing services, which Clifford describes as almost predatory because of the fees that they charge. Costco Wholesale is opening a huge new store in New York this summer. The Warehouse Club chain confirmed its first store in the capital region will open August 6th in Guilderland. The Times-Union reports the new Costco store is currently under construction and actively hiring for jobs. When it opens, the 163,000 square foot warehouse will have 18 member-only gas pumps and 150 employees. The store will be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays, 10 a.m. to 6:30 on Saturdays, and 11 to 6 on Sundays. Crossgates Mall said last week that a kiosk would be set up on the mall's upper level near Macy's, allowing people to sign up for memberships. A paid membership is required for most in-store shoppings and the discounted gas. Costco is a wholesale retailer of more than 600 warehouses in the United States. The company has 19 stores in New York, including 148,000 square foot store in Camillus and 156,000 square foot store in Rochester. Construction on the Guilderland Costco began in March of 2025, according to the Times-Union. Costco paid $2.5 million for the property at 1675 to 1683 Western Ave that was originally slated for a Crossgates Mall expansion that never moved forward. Last month, it was reported that Costco paid $15.6 million for a 16.5-acre parcel at 1701 Western Ave from a limited liability company affiliated with the Syracuse-based Pyramid Management Group, which owns Destiny USA and Crossgates Mall. Wegmans Food Markets has announced its grand opening for its southernmost location. It will open its first store in Charlotte, North Carolina on October 14th, bringing the 110,000 square foot supermarket to Ballantyne. The store will employ approximately 450 people in full and part-time positions, and hiring continues ahead of the opening date. We put a lot of care into hiring and training the new team, and we're looking for more enthusiastic candidates to join us before opening day. Wegmans currently has 114 stores across 9 states. Novelis restarts hot mill that was closed after 2 major fires, by Rick Moriarty. A key portion of Novelis Inc.'s giant aluminum plant near Oswego, damaged by 2 major fires last year, is back online after a 9-month shutdown. Novelis said Wednesday that the plant's hot mill, where the aluminum ingots are turned into sheet rolls, is running again after repairs were completed. Restarting the Oswego hot mill is an important step forward for our operations and, most importantly, for our customers, Novelis President and CEO Steve Fisher said. We're deeply grateful for the flexibility and partnership our customers have shown, as well as the extraordinary efforts of our employees, suppliers, and industry peers who came together to support the continuity of supply. On September 16th last year, a fire broke out in the ceiling of the hot mill, causing extensive damage to the facility's roof. After the roof was replaced, a second fire broke out in the same area on November 20th, damaging highly specialized equipment. No one was injured in the fires, which were contained to the hot mill and surrounding structures. The company did not address the cause of the fires in its statement on Wednesday. It previously said it believed several factors could have played a role, including the composition and characteristics of the aluminum coil in the mill, as well as lubricants in the mill and surrounding structures. It was not commented on the cause of the November fire, but said the blaze started in the same area where repairs were being made for the first fire. The mill's shutdown interrupted the shipment of aluminum to automakers. Ford Motor Company, the biggest customer, said the interruption caused it to lose $2 billion in sales. Novelis reported losing $84 million in its fourth quarter because of the fires. The 1.7 million square foot plant in the Oswego suburb of Scriba provides about 40% of the aluminum that domestic automakers use in their vehicles. Manufacturers are increasingly using aluminum in their vehicles to reduce weight and boost fuel economy. With the mill running again, Novelis said it was working closely with customers to ramp up supply. The company also thanked the Oswego community for its support throughout the recovery process. Novelis employs 1,122 full-time and 4 part-time workers at the plant, making it Oswego County's largest manufacturing employer. While the mill was closed, Novelis drew on its global network of hot mills and finishing operations to support their customers. And while it was closed, it kept the other portions of the plant opening, enabling all its employees to stay on the job. You're listening to a reading of articles and features from the Post-Standard on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. From our Savings Angel column by Josh Elledge, How to Tell If You're Really Getting a Good Deal Online. Shopping online used to be fairly straightforward. You found a product you wanted, compared a few prices, and decided whether the deal was worth it. Today, it's a lot more complicated. Prices can change multiple times per day. Sellers can use artificial intelligence tools to generate convincing product listings. Reviews may not always be trustworthy. Product photos can be altered or entirely AI generated. And thanks to dynamic pricing, the same item may not even cost the same for every shopper. For consumers trying to stretch their dollars, especially when prices are high for almost everything, it's becoming increasingly important to know how to separate genuine bargains from marketing tricks. With that in mind, here's how to determine if an online deal is actually good and how to spot some of the red flags that have become more common in the age of AI. Number 1, don't trust the sale price. One of the biggest mistakes shoppers make is assuming the listed discount automatically represents a good value. Just because the product claims to be 40% off doesn't mean you're saving money. In some cases, sellers temporarily raise prices before a sale and then discount them back down. In other cases, the list price may have little connection to what the consumers actually pay. Before buying, check the product's price history if possible. Several free browser extensions and websites track historical pricing for major retailers, including Amazon. These tools can show whether today's sale price is actually a bargain or simply a normal price dressed up as a promotion. Number 2, consider the product. Many online shoppers focus exclusively on finding the lowest price. While that's understandable, it can sometimes lead to buying inferior products that just don't last. Instead, compare the actual product specifications. Look at the dimensions, the materials, the warranties, included accessories, and return policies. A cheaper item isn't necessarily a better value. If it breaks quickly or performs poorly, and sometimes you have to pay to have it sent back, spending more upfront can save you money in the long term by avoiding replacements and frustration. AI generated product images. Artificial intelligence has made it easier than ever for sellers to create professional looking product photos. And sometimes that's harmless. Other times it creates an unrealistic expectation about what you're buying. Look carefully at product images. If every photo appears excessively perfect, lacks natural imperfections, or seems like a computer rendering, proceed with caution. Pay special attention to details such as the hands, text, reflections, shadows, and backgrounds. AI-generated images sometimes struggle with these elements and may produce subtle inconsistencies. Whenever possible, look for customer-submitted photos in the review section. Real-world images give much more accurate representations of the products. Number 5, beware the perfect review. Online reviews remain valuable, but they require more scrutiny than they once did. If they sound too good to be true, it's probably because they are. If dozens of reviewers use similar language, offer vague praise, or sound unusually enthusiastic without providing specific details, they're not as reliable as they appear. Look for reviews that discuss both the strengths and the weaknesses. Genuine customers tend to cite a mix of positives and negatives, even when they like a product. It's also helpful to read several 3-star and 4-star reviews. They'll provide most balanced and realistic feedback. Number 6, the too good to be true brands. One trend that has exploded in recent years is the rise of unfamiliar brands with names that appear completely random. While some lesser-known brands offer excellent value, others simply import generic products, create a new listing, and then disappear when problems arise. If you've never heard of a brand before, spend a few minutes researching it. Does it have a legitimate website? Can you find customer service information? Does the company have any history outside of the online marketplace? A low price isn't much of a bargain if the company disappears when you need support. Pause before purchasing. Many online retailers use the countdown timers, the limited stock warnings, and flash sale language to encourage quick purchases. Some of these promotions are legitimate. Other times they're just designed to create a sense of urgency. So before clicking buy now, take a moment to ask yourself a simple question. Would I still want this item if it weren't on sale? Can I live without this item tomorrow? If the answer is no, the discount is driving the purchase more than the product itself. Use tech to your advantage. The same technology that can help make shopping more confusing also helps you make smarter decisions. Price tracking tools, comparison shopping websites, browser extensions, and cashback programs can help verify whether you're getting a good deal. The goal isn't to spend hours researching every product. Rather, it's to develop a few simple habits that help you overpaying and reduce the chance of buyer's remorse. A few minutes of research can often prevent costly mistakes. Looking at the weather for the upcoming week, well, this past week was a scorcher for most of us, and the humidity went through the roof for a lot, and we had quite a few thunderstorms. But looking forward, it's going to be a little bit more mild. Monday, probably around 70, Tuesday, 74, Wednesday 78, Thursday 79, and Friday 76, and just some scattered chances of storms each one of those days. We know as it gets hotter, there's always that chance of that afternoon thunderstorm. Around the region, Albany reached 94 yesterday, in Lake George 93, in Buffalo only 76 because the cold front moved through and they had their temperature drop out. Utica also reached 86 for its high yesterday. Across the United States, Anchorage came in the 60s, Cleveland in the 70s, Las Vegas, yep, triple digits. That's the summer for them in Vegas, and also Palm Springs and Phoenix. And in St. Louis, it was in the 80s. Around the world, Acapulco checking in the high 70s. In London, in the low 70s. In Paris, in the mid 70s. In Rome, in the high 80s. And in Vancouver, in the mid 70s. So looking ahead to what's going on around the country and around the area, well, The last full week of spring is upon us. Here's our column from Jonathan Croyle about what to do around the area coming up in the following week. We have a lot of things going on this weekend, as we talked about last week, with the Greek Orthodox Festival at St. Sophia's in Syracuse, the Polish Festival at Clinton Square in Syracuse, Syracuse's Shakespeare in the Park on Thornton Park, a celebration of strawberry season at Navarino Orchard in Cherry Valley Turnpike in Syracuse, the Cap Breakfast today, that Saturday in Syracuse, the Six Nations Chapter Pontiac Oakland Club featuring Pontiac's, Oakland's, and GMC's car show on Burnett Ave in Syracuse this weekend, a book fair, a golf classic, and Bach to Bluegrass on Genesee Street in Skinny Atlas. All of that happening this weekend. Looking forward to next week on Monday, a rare hand-stitched Civil War battle flag originally presented to the 122nd New York Infantry Regiment in 1862 by Fayetteville suffragist and abolitionist Matilda Jocelyn Gage will be put on public display at the Onondaga County Courthouse on Monday. The program includes a historical presentation, a reenactment of Gage's 1862 speech, and collaborative insights from the Great Law of Peace Center. The flag survived battles of Antietam, Fredericksburg, and Gettysburg, and is among the rarest surviving artifacts of its kind in the region. Space inside the courthouse is limited, so early arrival is encouraged. It's going to happen at the Onondaga County Courthouse in Syracuse from 3 to 4 p.m. on Monday, and it is free. The Syracuse Actors Studio invites you to learn long-form improvisation, which builds longer scenes and full performances from a single audience suggestion, allowing for deeper character development and storytelling. Aaron Butron will lead the session alongside fellow improv performers. Those interested in performing a 3-minute monologue or scene may reserve a spot by emailing Joe Cunningham at jcunningham3021@gmail.com. You can register at the Eventbrite listing. At the Palace Theater, 2384 James Street in Syracuse from 7 to 10 Monday. Doors will open at 6:30 and it's free to get in, but donations are welcome. Planet K-Pop is a high-energy tribute concert featuring live performances and choreography inspired by some of K-pop's biggest acts, including BTS, Blackpink, and K-pop Demon Hunters. The tickets are at Ticketmaster. It will happen at the On Center Krause-Heinz Theater at 411 Montgomery Street in Syracuse at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Tickets will start at $60 plus fees. More CNY things to do. Bloomsday. The Syracuse James Joyce Society presents Bloomsday, an annual celebration featuring readings from James Joyce's Ulysses. The event offers literature enthusiasts a chance to gather and experience Joyce's landmark novel in a lively pub setting with food and drinks available for purchase. For more information, contact S. Clark with an E, 4306 at gmail.com. It's going to be at Nibsy's Pub, 210 Ulster Street in Syracuse from 5:30 to 9:30 on Tuesday, and it is free. The Syracuse Mets return home to NBT Bank Stadium for a week's worth of games against the Norfolk Tides. Promotions include Bark in the Park on Tuesday, Education Day matinees at 11 on Wednesday, Pride Night on Thursday with a jersey giveaway, and Juneteenth commemoration with a jersey giveaway on Friday. There will be fireworks after the games from Thursday to Saturday. 1 Tex Simone Drive in Syracuse, 6:05 Tuesday, 11:05 Wednesday, 6:35 Thursday through Saturday, and 1 o'clock on the 21st Sunday. Tickets will start at $21. Fresh off the release of the album Prizefighter and continuing momentum from the 2025's Rushmere, folk rock giants Mumford & Sons returns to the Empire FCU Credit Union Amphitheater at Lakeview. The British folk rock band skyrocketed to fame with its 2009 album Sigh No More and the Grammy-winning 2012 follow-up Babel. Tickets are at Ticketmaster. 498 Restoration Way in Syracuse, 7:30 on Thursday. Tickets start at $43. Celebrate Black freedom, culture, and community with a multi-day celebration that features a flag-raising ceremony on Thursday, a parade Saturday, and 2 days of live performances, food, and vendor markets at Clinton Square, plus a weekend of gospel and R&B performances alongside the community health and service organizations. Clinton Square in Syracuse, the parade begins at Dunbar Center on State Street on Thursday. Flag raising ceremony will be at noon. Juneteenth festival from 5 to 10 Thursday, Friday. Victory Parade 11 a.m. on Saturday, followed by the festival from noon to 11, and it is free to attend. You're listening to a reading of articles and feature from the Post-Standard on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Coming up on Friday, you can root for the U.S. men's national team on Friday as it takes on Australia in its second group match at the FIFA World Cup. Visit Syracuse is holding a free watch party series starting with this game on a 9 by 16 foot LED screen at Everson Park. Food trucks will offer themed foods and drinks. Unbagged folding chairs are welcome. The event is rain or shine. The Everson Plaza will also have a watch party for the final on July 19th. The WCNY Courtyard at 415 West Fayette Street will host watchers from 5 to 9 on the 24th. It's Scotland versus Brazil that night. And from 2 to 6 on the 26th, the game of Norway versus France. 401 Harrison Street in Syracuse, the four-match series will begin at 2 o'clock on Friday and is free to attend. The Syracuse Gay and Lesbian Chorus will celebrate its 35th anniversary with a Pride concert featuring songs spanning decades and genres, including Here Comes the Sun, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, and To Sir with Love. The concert is the chorus love letter to Syracuse, honoring the community, friends, and family who have supported the group throughout its history. Tickets are available in advance online or at the door. The concert will also be live streamed. syrgic.org/events. At the May Memorial Unitarian Universalist Society, 3800 Genesee Street in Syracuse, 7 o'clock Friday and 2 o'clock on Saturday. Advance tickets are $18 for adults and $15 for students and seniors. The Oswego Players will present a farcical comedy called A Little Murder Never Hurt Anybody, featuring schemes, counter-schemes, murder, and mayhem, set in the home of the idle-rich Perry couple. Written by Ron Bernas and directed by Kevin Colvin, the production pays homage to the screwball comedies of the 1930s and promises laughter for audiences of all ages. Tickets at oswegoplayers.org or call 315-343-5138. It's at the Francis Marion Brown Theater for 2 weekends, 32 Barbara Donahue Drive in Oswego. 7:30 Friday and Saturday's matinee is 2 p.m. 7:30 Friday and Saturday. Matinees at 2 p.m. on Sunday. $20 for adults and $15 for seniors and students. Jamesville's Sweet Salvage Gift Shop invites you to shop for new garden and outdoor finds, including iron decor, bird baths, patio tables, vintage pieces, and salvage treasures. And you can stop by their lemonade stand. 6843 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville from 10 to 5 Friday through June 21st, and it is free. The Westcott neighborhood transformed into an outdoor gallery for its 25th annual art trail, featuring local painters, photographers, sculptors, ceramists, and other displaying and selling work from their homes, porches, yards, and community spaces. Live music and food vendors route out the festival atmosphere. Spit that out 3 times. And a new kids' art tent will offer free activities for children throughout the day. The event is open to all and held rain or shine. Details at westcott.cc.org/westcott-art-trail. Westcott neighborhood in Syracuse from 10 to 5 next Saturday, and it is free to attend. The Garrett Smith Estate in Peterborough hosts a Juneteenth celebration featuring 4 live acts spanning blues, folk, jazz, and Americana, jug bands, and rock. Performers include Foxrow, Sammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Mira Grimm, the Westcott Jug Suckers, and folk rock veteran Ron McDonald. Food and beverages will be available on-site from the Smithfield Volunteer Fire Department and the Foothill Hops Beer and Wine Truck. Bring your own chairs. The event is rain or shine. Advance tickets are at peterboroughNewYork.org. It'll be at the Garrett Smith Estate at 5304 Oxbow Road in Peterborough. On Saturday, the gates will open at 2. Music is from 3 to 8. It's $20 in advance and $25 at the gate. The Friends of the Rosamont Gifford Zoo will host its annual Zoo Run 5K, a race that runs through the zoo grounds to support animal care and conservation education in central New York. Runners and walkers of all levels are welcome, and a 1K fun run is available for the kids. All proceeds help the group's mission, and every registrant receives a finisher's medal and a complimentary zoo admission for the day. You can register at tinyurl.com/zoo-run-run. At the Rosemont Gifford Zoo in Syracuse, the runners will begin at 7 a.m. on Saturday with the competitive runners, and then other levels will start throughout the morning. It is $32 for Zoo members and $35 for non-members. Composer's debut works, inspired by poetry and paintings of Skaneateles native John D. Barrow, performed by OTD New Music Ensemble in collaboration with Barrow Art Gallery. Tickets at offthedockchamber.com at the First Presbyterian Church at 97 East Genesee Street in Skaneateles. Composer's panel is at 6:30, the concert at 7 next Saturday, and it is $25 for admission. The Wamba African Drum and Dance Group will return to Willard Memorial Chapel to share the culture of Ghana through music, dance, traditional costumes, and West African rhythms. Guests will be invited to learn traditional dances and try playing African drums, making it an interactive cultural experience for all ages. The group is known for its appearance on America's Got Talent. Tickets are at the willard-chapel.com or at the door, 17 Nelson Street in Auburn, at 6 p.m. next Saturday, $10 per person, free for children 12 and under. The Syracuse Rose Society is holding an annual rose show at the Masonic Temple in North Syracuse. You can view roses and arrangements, learn which roses grow best in our area, and meet and ask questions of consulting rosarians at 648 Centerville Road in North Syracuse from 1 to 4 next Saturday, and it is free. A certified forest therapy guide will lead participants on a slow, sensory-focused walk covering less than 1 mile, emphasizing silence and mindful engagement with nature. Benefits can include reduced stress, anxiety, cardiovascular support, and low blood sugar levels. Registration is required by calling 315-697-2950 or going to tinyurl.com/swampforestwalk. It'll happen at the Great Swamp Conservancy, 8375 North Main Street in Canastota, from noon to 2:30 next Saturday, and tickets are $30 for ages 14 and up. In news from the arts column, Recapturing Joy. Syracuse artist Carrie Mae Weems will be featured at the new Obama Presidential Center by Jonathan Croyle. When the new Obama Presidential Center opens Friday in Syracuse, visitors can see the fruits of Syracuse artist Carrie Mae Weems' work to capture the joy of the 2008 election and the meaning of the man sent to the White House. Weems, a world-renowned artist who lives in Syracuse and was Syracuse University's first artist in residence, was chosen as one of the select groups of artists to contribute commissioned art installations to the center. She said it was a great honor. Weems admitted she needed to take time to process about what to do. Her work would be a permanent part of the center. She took a year and a half exploring different approaches and another 18 months to create it, 3 years in all. She was inspired by their election victory in 2008 and looked to recapture that feeling, that idea of joy, in the moment of that day of November 2008. Her work would also take a deep interest in the person of Barack Obama, she said, not just the man, but the meaning of the man. The center features over 28 commissioned art installations to encourage visitors to reflect on their abilities to bring about change. The center features Weems's Cool Blue Wind, a photographic collage printed on silver and gold metallic paper, accompanied by original music. The image compiled many voices aimed at one subject. The accompanying soundtrack, which plays continuously around the piece, centers on jazz, collective memory, and democratic participation. She calls the piece of music the Obama Suite. Jazz is democratic, she said, and this piece is too. The artist received all the validation she needed late last month when Chicago at the center asked for some last-minute touches. Obama snuck up behind her and told her he loved her work. It was really wonderful, she remembered. Gave me a warm hug and invited my team to take a photograph. It was humbling, and I am so grateful. From the Outdoors column, Upstate's stunning public gardens invite you to come and smell the flowers by Chuck D. Imperio. Public gardens can be found throughout upstate New York, from the Hudson Valley to western New York. They're contemplative places filled with aromatic blooming roses, lilacs, daffodils, and other fragrant favorites. So you can add these to your summer bucket list. Thorndon Park E.M. Mills Rose Garden at 201 Ostrom Ave in Syracuse. Thorndon Park is Syracuse's second largest park and a popular spot for seasonal family outdoor activities and gatherings. Within the park is the E.M. Mills Rose Garden, which covers 385 acres of the park landscape. Well, the public garden hosts nearly 4,000 rose bushes featuring nearly 400 varieties of roses. When the roses are in full bloom, the garden swells with artists, photographers, and ceremonial events. The Rose Garden is named for Edmund M. Mills, a local minister and the founder of the Syracuse Rose Society. The highest part of the park will offer views of Onondaga Lake. Sycamore Hill Gardens at 2130 Old Seneca Turnpike in Marcellus was once a working dairy farm in Onondaga County. The 40-acre garden now offers opportunities for exploring and learning in a gorgeous natural setting. Visitors can stroll through flowering gardens, see 10,000 indigenous trees and shrubs, spring flowering bulbs, and acres of wildflowers. The grounds include koi ponds, old stone walls, English and Asian statuary, a bird sanctuary, and a pollinator habitat. The Cornell University Botanic Gardens at 124 Comstock Knoll Drive in Ithaca feature Robinson Herb Gardens with 500 varieties of herbs and 17 themed beds, and the Comstock Knoll Rhododendron Collection with more than 100 varieties on display. Also listed is the Innisfree Gardens at 362 Tyrell Road in Millbrook, the Montgomery Place Gardens at 26 Gardner Way in Red Hook, the Weathersfield Estate and Gardens at 257 Pugsley Hill Road in Amenia, the King's Gardens at Fort Ticonderoga, 102 Fort Ticonderoga Road in Ticonderoga, Yaddo at 312 Union Ave in Saratoga Springs. These are gardens surrounding the Yaddo Mansion, a 55-room Tudor-style estate. Parker F. Scripture Botanical Gardens at 121 2nd Street in Oriskany. It's a 15-acre site that features a butterfly house, beehives, and a woodland nature trail. The Buffalo and Erie County Botanical Gardens at 2655 South Park Avenue in Buffalo, and the Maplewood Park and Rose Gardens at 250 Maplewood Ave in Rochester. All of these wonderful places to go see beautiful flowers and landscapes, something to put on your travel list for the summer. In the outdoors columns, we also have the Adirondacks are a great place to visit and experience the tranquil silence of nature, and also a great place to catch free outdoor concerts by Steve Featherstone. Ausable Forks, Music at the River Park, is a weekly concert series at Riverside Park from 6 to 8 p.m. Wednesdays and on Saturdays from July 8th to August 6th. Crown Point Park and Music at Veterans Memorial Park on Thursdays will run from July 16th to August 20th, and they'll have a craft and produce market from 5 to 6 with live music from 6 to 8. In Indian Lake, the Music in the Park on select Saturdays from July 18th to September 24th at the concert stage. Most concerts begin at 7. A special July 4th performance will be at 6 p.m. in Byron Park. In Inlet, Sunsets by the Lake concert series will be on Saturday evenings from July 4th to September 5th at Arrowhead Park. The rain location will be at Fern Park Pavilion. Times can vary from 7 to 9 p.m. in July to 6 to 8 p.m. in August. The GEMS concert series and Music on the Green Saturdays will occur from July 4th to September 5th at the J Village Green from 6 to 8 p.m. Keysville Summer Music Festivals will be on Friday in July and August from 6 to 8 at the Riverside Park. In Lake Placid, the Lake Placid North Alba Historical Society Museum's Monday Music at the Museum on June 22nd, July 13th, July 27th, and August 10th will go from 6 to 10 p.m. In Long Lake, Music on the Lake on Fridays from July 4th to August 21st at Long Lake Town Beach. In Minerva, live music at Courtney Park on the second Wednesday of the month. That will happen from June to August at 6:30. Also at Mariah, Newcomb, Shroon Lake, Saranac Lake, Ticonderoga, Tupper Lake, Westport, Wilmington, and farmers markets music, you can visit AdirondackHarvest.com for a full list of farmers markets in the Adirondacks. So if you're going to vacation up in the Adirondacks, there's going to be plenty of places where you can catch music on the weekends. You're listening to a reading of articles and features from the Post-Standard on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Also from the Outdoors columns, do you like to hike? This Adirondack survey is for you. Protect the Adirondacks has launched the 2026 Adirondack Forest Preserve Hiker Survey. The survey runs through October until Columbus Day weekend. It is designed to gather information about who's using the Forest Preserve in 2026, their expectations and the purpose of their hike, their goals, the information the hikers relied on to choose and prepare for their hike, their travel to reach the hike, their hiking and parking experiences, their thoughts about the trail and parking conditions, and the overall management of the Forest Preserve. It takes about 15 minutes to complete on the computer or smartphone by going to tinyurl.com/ADKHikeSurvey. Results from the survey are anticipated to be published by the end of the year. The 2026 Adirondack Forest Preserve Hiker Survey seeks public comments from people who have hiked on any trail in the Forest Preserve in the Adirondack Park. There are over 2,000 miles of hiking trails on the Forest Preserve, and there's very little information about the experiences of the hikers and their thoughts about trail conditions and overall management, said Peter Bauer, Hiker Survey Project Director. This survey aims for a broad and diverse participation of Forest Preserve users who share their thoughts about their experiences and their concerns. The survey is administered by SUNY Research Foundation and led by Dr. Kurt Gervich of SUNY Plattsburgh. Gervich has extensive experience in surveying public attitudes about environmental management of public lands and environmental issues. This survey investigates the goals the people have when hiking in the Adirondack Forest Preserve and whether the experiences of hiking the preserve meets their expectations. He said previous surveys about hiking address questions of crowding, ecological impacts, and visitor use. This survey focuses on the experience of hiking by asking questions: what are your expectations for viewing wildlife and natural features, and did you encounter any obstacles while enjoying your hike? When paired with other work, it will provide a new data set for informing the management of public lands in the Adirondacks, Gervich said. From the entertainment column, what to watch this week, the latest Harlan Coben series will center on a father convicted of a son's murder. Sam Worthington from The Avatar and Britt Lauer from Severance will star in Netflix's latest Harlan Coben adaptation, which centers on a father wrongly convicted of his son's murder who plots to break out of prison where he learns that his son might still be alive. It's called I Will Find You. Begins streaming Thursday on Netflix. The Simpsons Extreme Makeover Homer Edition will be the first of 3 streaming-only episodes of The Simpsons due this summer. It'll start streaming on Wednesday on Disney+. Sugar. Maybe we should list the genre as drama-sci-fi, or is that too much of a spoiler for a detective series that featured one of the most left-of-field twists in television history in its first season? An 8-episode second season, streaming weekly through August 7th, will find Colin Farrell's private investigator John Sugar tackling a new case, which means almost an entirely new cast that will feature Shea Wiggum, Jin Ha, Raymond Lee, Laura Donnelly, and Tony Dalton. That begins streaming Friday on Apple TV. From the Home Video On Demand column, Lorne, a behind-the-scenes glimpse at SNL creator Lorne Michaels by Academy Award-winning director Morgan Neville. It will feature interviews and cast members and exclusive and archival footage, and that is either on Paramount or Peacock. I watched it this past week. I don't remember which. A Magnificent Life. This French animated film, directed by Sylvain Chomet, is a biographical drama about the personal and professional struggles of the playwright, novelist, and filmmaker Marcel Pagnol, who attempts to balance his legacy with his ambition. She Dances stars Steve Zahn and daughter Audrey in this family drama about a divorced father who has to stop in to chaperone a trip of a high school dance competition. Proud Princess, a family-friendly Czech animated flick about a king who goes undercover as a gardener to woo a princess. And Signal 1 by Isabel Furman, David Thewlis, and Dennis Quaid will star in a sci-fi film about a group of scientists searching for alien life at the behest of a tech billionaire. I wonder who that's patterned after. Did you know that he actually is now a trillionaire? The only one in the world, but yes. but we won't go there. All right, to wrap up this week's readings, we have a full coverage of the Syracuse LGBTQ plus community builders in the living section from Colette Goldstein. As Syracuse's cultural and economic landscape expands, so does LGBTQ plus communities. With that comes a greater need for visibility in businesses and shared spaces. And that's what Queercuse is aiming to do. Created by Travis Barr, the co-owner of retail shop H. Gray Supply Company, and Michelle Horton, the co-founder of Lesbian Syracuse, Queercuse will act as a digital spotlight on the LGBTQ plus footprint across Central New York's economy, mapping out LGBTQ plus owned businesses and organizations for both internal community support and consumer-facing exposure. Like a mutual aid station, Barr said, they want the website, which officially launched June 1st, to function like a living, breathing directory, a connective tissue between local businesses and business owners, a guide for Syracuse consumers exploring where to spend their money, a place for first-time visitors or new residents to locate the area's inclusive spaces, and more. Barr and Horton pointed out other 4 major cities in Syracuse already have these hubs. Queercuse will fill this long-standing gap in Syracuse with plans to incorporate a comprehensive event calendar and an index of vetted businesses allies. For Syracuse to have something that's a central directory of what to do, where to go, who to see, is only going to make the city more profitable and bring more people here, Barr said. While it will mainly operate as a one-stop shop, it's part of a larger effort to map and uplift life across Central New York and work with existing organizations. So here's additional groups and resources fostering the community and support in Syracuse. Barracuse, for those in Central New York who identify with or around the bear community. In words, the network's face group includes bears, cubs, daddies, and followers. Beyond a digital community, Syracuse's channels outline in-person events like fundraisers and social gatherings, such as photo walks along Onondaga Creek and opportunities to build community. Beyond will offer year-round programming for LGBTQ plus youth to socialize, build skills, and have fun. The organization coordinates monthly meetups along with annual summer camp sessions for ages 12 to 17, creating a space for young people and their families to cultivate belonging in supportive, affirming environments. New this year is a family camp weekend for all ages. Blackcuse Pride is specifically guaranteed toward elevating and supporting queer and trans people of color. Their Facebook and Instagram accounts post events, news, and activities that promote unified and fully reflected community. CNY Hiking, for those looking to take advantage of the beautiful local landscape and meet others. CNY Hiking brings LGBTQ plus people and allies together through hikes and outdoor meetups. Their site has a robust list of past and future locations and an inviting photo gallery. To stay connected, CNY Hiking has a group chat accessible via Instagram, a newsletter, and an online calendar. Other groups around the Syracuse area include CNY Pride is a non-profit organization that organizes and bolsters LGBTQ plus events in the Syracuse area. During Pride Month, CNY Pride invites Syracuse to celebrate the queer community through a vibrant array of events and festivals, but works extends well beyond June. Year-round, it takes part in highlighting and collaborating with other organizations in community gatherings and fundraisers. Its website also includes a pink page directly for LGBTQ-friendly businesses, organizations, and general resources across Central New York. Come Out CNY, founded by Kevin Bailey, is a unifying gateway for the LGBTQ plus community, linking people to workshops, programming, social events, businesses, art organizations, and more. Simply put, the organization focuses on supporting and responding to the needs of the local community. Looking for spontaneous ways to link up with other people, Come Out CNY also hosts Syracuse Guerrilla Queer events, monthly pop-up gatherings that bring folks into different venues. Each venue is kept under wraps until the day before, when an email or Instagram repost will reveal the hub for connections. FemCNY is a collective creating intentional, inclusive spaces for networking, social events, and creative experiences for the gender diverse women and femme folk. In collaboration with organizations and venues across the region, the groups host events that welcome anyone who connects with their community, and information on upcoming gatherings can be found through their Instagram page. LGBT LGBTQ Syracuse is a grassroots organization connecting the community through Facebook, Instagram, Bluesky, YouTube, and Threads. Across these platforms, they share events, LGBTQ-owned businesses, news, and graphics to promote solidarity around their causes. If you're single or not and looking to mingle, Meet Cute has an event for you. From yoga Sundays to meetups at local bars and dance parties, these events facilitate a safe space for building new relationships outside of social media and dating apps. Salt City Bar, Emerald Cocktail Kitchen, and Blue Moon Yoga and Movement Studios are frequent hosts. The Q Center that's where the safe space is located as a branch of ACR Health in Syracuse. It offers after-school programs, case management services, special events such as the annual Pride Prom, and more. Young people 10 to 29 can find peers to connect with, and a group that have younger children can attend with their parents or older caregivers. Sage Upstate is a non-for-profit organization located in the CNY Philanthropy Center that supports individuals as they age. From support groups to social events, Sage's health and well-being programs will center around reducing isolation and building connection, especially for older members of the community and their allies. One of the meaningful opportunities Sage creates is a free intergenerational dinner where participants share a meal and their lived experiences. And Transgender Alliance of Central New York, trans people in the Central New York area can find opportunities for support and social gatherings through the Transgender Alliance of CNY. Led by local trans community members and interlaced with nonprofit support, this alliance can be found on Facebook. The trans community meets monthly in person at the Sage Upstate Center or on Zoom. All of these activities and all of these communities deserve to be heard and deserve to be featured, not just during the week of or the month of June for Pride, but all of the time. And if it's not something that interests you, then you don't have to support them. Just don't work against them is all I'm asking. That is my personal soapbox moment of the broadcast. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features for the weekend edition of the Post-Standard. As always, we ask for your feedback, things that you liked, things that you didn't like, and what would you like to maybe hear more of. Your reader has been Donna, and we thank you for listening.